Most likely you've been cursed. Don't know who by or why yet, but hope to find that out soon.
Cursed magic, what fucking ever! We need someone to rid us of it, plain and simple!
The curse tale comes to an end in this final video. I'll talk about some of the curses and cursed ones from Geralt's past, concerning the games and the books. Some of these stories and creatures didn't quite fit together elsewhere, so I decided to make this last video combining a few of them here. If you wish to watch the previous videos in this curse tale, you can find a playlist at the top right of the screen. And don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. Anyway, onwards with today's curses.
If you've an eye out for work, heard of Strigas prowl in the Maribor forest.
The first cursed creature I'd like to discuss is the Striga. The only Striga we have much information on is Adda the White, daughter to Foltest, king of Temeria. This curse was one set in motion before birth, for Adda was a child conceived of incestuous relations. Foltest's mother, an Ostrit, a courtier and confidant of Foltest's court, attempted to curse Foltest for his actions. Although it's not quite clear who caused the curse exactly, the effects became clear soon enough. Upon Adda's birth, she and her mother died, and both were buried. Similar to a botchling, a Striga rises again at the light of a full moon, out of her crypt and into the night. Wreaking havoc on any foolish to wander. The only way to revert such a curse? Well, the monster must not be able to find its way back to its place of rest. In this case, her mother's tomb. If this is done correctly, by morning the Striga will transform back into the girl it should have been. Of course, this work is best done by a witcher.
I'm very, very grateful. Truly so.
Geralt lifted this curse, but Adda the White would never be the same. She had lived as a monster her entire life, never knew normality or the ways of society. She would have a hunger, a beastly thirst for many years after. And without proper guidance and rituals, the curse may take its hold once more. We only see mention of Adda and Strigas in The Witcher 3, one in the form of a letter, a possible plot to reform the curse. For Adda to become a Striga once more, one would have to sprinkle her food with 3 drops of blood from her father, King Foltest, 3 drops of blood from a wolf and 3 drops of bile from a freshly buried woman. One who died having finished 100 years but not yet having started 101st. Then one must cast the incepted triangle over the meal thus prepared. That should do the trick. Yet please consider carefully whether you truly wish to carry out such an ignoble deed. Another cursed one of Geralt's past is the afflicted urchin of Erenwald, or Dooney.
The urchin of Erlenwald. Secret lovers, their betrothal, a curse, a cruel queen, bells sounding midnight.
Cursed by a sorcerer, an ironic joke. For his name was Emir, and in the Nilfgaardian dialect it sounded like urchin. And so the sorcerer thought it best that he take the form of a hedgehog. Spines and quills appeared, and he became a monster. Although the curse was not foolproof, as Dooney would transform back each night. Dooney, of course, is none other than
Emperor Emir var Emrys, or, to those on more intimate terms with him, the white flame dancing on the graves of his foes.
And his rise to emperor is very much intertwined with the story of Geralt. For Geralt had a hand in Emir's release from the curse. Dooney began a secretive relationship with the Princess Pavetta, and on her 15th birthday, at a suitor's party, would declare the right to Pavetta's hand in marriage, by law of surprise. These events unfold in the recent Netflix show, of which I'm sure many of you have seen.
At which point he reveals his face. He's a monster, there to steal Princess Pavetta. They want him dead, but at that instant a witcher steps in.
A fight broke out, Dooney was injured and Pavetta's powers unleashed themselves upon the court, threatening to destroy everyone and everything. Geralt, however, intervened and managed to interrupt Pavetta. Dooney's curse was lifted as midnight struck. The marriage was sanctioned, and Dooney lived as a normal man from then onwards. It was also discovered that Pavetta was pregnant, a girl. They named her Cirilla. This story is of course more expansive and detailed, and there is much more to discuss. However, I want to stick to curses specifically. But Geralt's involvement in this story, and with the future Emperor of Nilfgaard, is the beginning of Geralt and Ciri's bond. Geralt's child of surprise was of course the daughter of Duny and Pavetta, Ciri. Perhaps this story deserves a video of its own in the future.
We enter the fray!
Moving on to the events of The Witcher 2, the Draug is a type of taskmaster wraith, who manifested during the Eternal Battle. A memory of the past, a battle that took place between Kaedweni and Edirnian forces. The Draug assumed the memories and form of Vandegrift, a general of the Kaedweni army. His actions allowed the curse to take form, and set the ground for it to be ignited by those that would disrespect the past.
Stop! Stop in the name of Kriv, Freyr and Melitele!
Your nightmare!
The curse was set in motion by the actions of Prince Stennis and King Henselt. Blood was spilled upon the field in which many had perished, fertile ground for powerful curses. It was of course down to Geralt to attempt to lift this devastation,
Mercy.
and face the Draug, the fiery heart of the curse.
You have failed me!
Who are you?
Your nightmare!
Upon removal of the Draug, the curse lifted and the battlefield cleared once more. But a witcher's work is never done, of course, and more curses and cursed ones lay ahead. I want to briefly mention the Archespores, or the Echinops, cursed plants that thrive on grounds that have seen great sin, soaked with the blood of innocents, crimes never atoned for. They are both explosive and poisonous, and will spit deadly fluids to whoever cross their path. They come in a variety of vibrant and garish colours, the colours of toxic plant life. There is not a lot of lore on these deadly plants, but we see Archespores in Toussaint weaponised against others. It seems they can be cultivated and deployed. They do not have to appear naturally out of cursed land. Perhaps we see them in Toussaint due to the pogroms of the elves. Toussaint was not always a land of love and wine. And finally we finish on the curse that afflicted Avallac'h, Uma's curse, caused by the king of the Wild Hunt to disrupt Avallac'h's aiding Ciri.
He produced the phylactery, uncorked it. A fog enveloped us, and Avallac'h began gasping for air.
That's how Eredin cursed avallac'h, triggered his transformation into Uma?
Yes. He didn't wish to kill him. Humiliation, that's what he was after.
Uma fell into Geralt's hands and was taken to Kaer Morhen to attempt to lift the curse. Uma seemed to have the mind of a child, and the unfortunate form of a misshapen hunchback, with bulging eyes of which there was little light behind. It seemed to have been a curse spoken in a forgotten tongue.
Recognize the dialect?
Lathan Undod.
Meaning?
The so-called One speech, a forgotten language dating from before the migration.
Yes, in legends, of the kind that do not end happily.
Can you help us with the curse?
To a degree, Agnes de Glanville's incantation, combined with Elder's triangle, inverted, of course. They are your only possible recourse. But I cannot guarantee that even they will suffice.
Vesemir suggested a witcher's method in lifting this curse.
What's this method?
Derives from folk traditions. I've used it many times. In 1211, to lift the curse that held the Swan of Povis, for instance. I'll take Uma into the mountains.
What then? Will you howl at the moon together?
A bit of respect. You're not talking to Geralt.
No, we will not howl at the moon. I'll lay him down on a gravestone. Come midnight, I'll give him tea made of hemlock harvested from... But I don't see that I need to explain this to you.
In my opinion...
I know your opinion, but I'm not asking anyone's permission. I'm saying what will happen. I'll be back at dawn, with Uma, or whoever hides inside him.
Yet it bared no fruit and failed. The only way, it seemed, to lift such a powerful curse was to reform Uma's body, to destroy the current form and reveal the one inside. Yennefer of Vengerberg thought the best way to do this was through the Trial of Grasses. The Witchers were not best pleased.
I'll subject him to the Trial of Grasses, but only...
You'll fucking what?
Regardless, the plan went ahead.
O-E-C-K Finn.
What now?
Now we wait for the potions to do their work. Might take a day, might take more.
Never severe. Caniatad. Nevid. Savir. Kowal. Arriva. Endir. No. No, I won't let you. Geralt. Yellow flask. In my satchel.
Quiet. Listen.
Kowal. Kowal. Caniatad.
Nevid Severe. Kowal. Kowal. Caniatad. Nevid. Arriva. Endir. Geralt. The phylactery. Open it. Caniatad. Taran Anada. Dis.
Miraculously, it had worked. Uma's original form was restored. Avallac'h was once again himself. And so this cursed tale comes to an end. We've travelled across many points in time and discussed many different creatures, cursed by nature or by magical means. I hope you've enjoyed this series, and if you want to see more from me, perhaps subscribe for the next series. Leave a like if you like this video, and comment below if you think that I've missed any relevant curses from the Witcher universe, or if you'd like to see me do a video on a certain subject. For the time being, I have other videos on my channel that you can take a look at. Thank you, and good luck on the path.
Think universals exist as real and distinct entities, or only as mental constructs? So do I.